Welcome, guys, to another episode of Clarified Moments, where we hope to bring a level of clarity to your consciousness, to your view, to your perspective, to your world. So I've taken some time away to assess some things, love on family, sow some seed. Shout out the family, by the way. Shout out to the church family, to the immediate family, to the work family, just family. And without going into any details, there's just some things in life that cause you to put things into the proper perspective, or as we like to say at the PDI Institute, course correct. At least for some of us, it causes you to protect the narrative, or narrative protect, which are two of the most important things in this thing we call life. If those two things are jacked up, then you might just self-destruct. Or worse yet, you might cause someone else to self-destruct. So, like, they're vitally important, to say the least. But we'll touch on those two things in a minute. But what I wanted to touch on is this Kwame Brown personality. Wow. Like, who knew? This dude, and for those who don't know, Kwame Brown, #1 pick by Michael Jordan when he was with the Wizards. He was the half owner or owner, whatever, and he was supposedly a bust. But you guys need to go check out his YouTube channel. It's called Bust Life. Age appropriate, by the way, because there's some profanity in it, but again, very refreshing, insightful. There's some depth to this dude. He's funny. And again, very refreshing to see this $1 million man who was labeled by his contemporaries as a failure. He's able to laugh at it, to critically think. He's able to criticize his own thoughts and remove warped views and perspectives that hinder common sense. He has clear conscious thought. Like, some of the things he was saying was like, whoa, is he listening to me? Is he in my house? Is he in my living room? Is he privy to some of the conversations I have? Like, dude is on it. But again, you guys go check it out. I'm gonna put the link to the full video in my comment section. But I was trying to figure out which video I wanted to comment on, so I just narrowed it down to one of his latest videos in which he interviewed Judge Joe Brown, which is a deep dude in his own right. Like, he's funny, an old head as we like to call him, but hey, they were on it. So again, I put the link of the original video in the comment section, so you guys click on it, go check out the whole video. These are just some snippets, some talking points that I thought were dead on with clear conscious thought, with bringing a level of consciousness to your view, to your perspective, to your world. So let's check it out.
See the contrast from 1920 to 1940 is 20 years. That's the only time the Nazis had to work. This same group, using the methodology that the Nazis based theirs on, had 50 years, not 20.
Mm-hmm.
So we think in terms of their narrative.
Whoa, like, man, has a level of understanding of the times. What did he just say? For 50 plus years, the brainwashing was, and is taking place by glorifying dysfunction. Like, right now, what's really abnormal is presented as normal. Real talk. And so it's a disorder. You know, again, from the PDI coaching standpoint, which is the purpose deficit disorder, you see humanity, right? Is, has, and always will be purpose driven. But just like Miles Monroe said, if you don't know the purpose of a thing, you're bound to abuse it. So right now you got a large portion of humanity that is in the PDI lane. They have a PDD, put it like that. They have a purpose deficit disorder.
The hero driving off in the limo into the sunset, smoking a big Cuban cigar. And see, they started doing that. Well, when you get this mix rolling, they also had another thing too, which was, let's take over the political party. And you used to hear them on campus talking this nonsense all the time, where they'd get into the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And the thing was, the Republican Party would work behind the scenes, or at least the ones that got in there. And in the Democratic Party, they'd be the voice. So from time to time, they would deliberately cause a lot of confusion. And when they caused a lot of confusion, then they could work behind the scenes and nobody would see. So slowly, they ran this propaganda. And the best propaganda engine in the whole world was doing it. I mean, even Adolf Hitler and Heinrich Himmler and Goebbels, for the Nazis, said, we have to model what we do on the American entertainment industry because it gets in so many people's heads, and we need to copy that methodology. Now, they did this, and for 50 years, they have propaganda glorifying dysfunction.
Listen to what else he had to say.
You know, they push this stuff too. See that narrative they do. You got to think, like, they're trying to get Trump still for inciting a riot in D.C. What did he do? He told all these people to come and demonstrate, right? Well, the First Amendment, for those who've never read it, says you have a right that shall not be abridged to assemble and petition for redress of grievance. That means you have a demonstration, and the petition doesn't have to be in writing. It's been the law for 240 years. It can be by protest. You have a right to assemble, to petition, protest for redress of grievance. In other words, you got a problem you want fixed. That's all they did. Now, it's been long the law that if somebody independently decides to get unruly, you're not responsible for what they do as long as what you were advocating was peaceful. But on the other hand, look at Maxine Waters to show you there's an agenda. She actually was out advocating for people to spit on somebody with a MAGA hat. They had support Trump bumper sticker, break out the car windows, turn the things over, get unruly and burn stuff up. That actually is incitement of violence, which is in fact criminal. Now, they don't go after her, they just have this thing on Trump. Now, I don't particularly like Trump, but I'm not against him.
Now, if the basic purpose is to fight against racism, right? At every turn, seen and unseen, which I believe we've been called to even a higher purpose, honestly, then why are we ignoring the very important point of clarity? Just that, you know, some of us are filled with rage and are passionate against everyone that doesn't fit that narrative. Like, why are we ignoring that? While others get by with a pass. There's a discrepancy there. She's able to do this, but he's not. Course correct, narrative protect. What's the course? What's the narrative? The course and the narrative is truth. If it's true here, it's true here. If it's a lie here, it's a lie here. Remember, God is not the author of confusion. And if we don't consider and protect the truth, then we are subject to going into crisis mode. And that's what's happening, which is emotional. Which is what some of us are a part of right now, which is a large portion of society wants us to be in. They want us to be emotional. They don't want us to think with logic and reason. They don't want us to remove warped views and perspectives that hinder common sense. So if we're constantly reacting, not thinking, you're going to miss something. Some important, vital, crucial points of clarity. Some very important, crucial information that's going to destroy your point of clarity and hinder clear conscious thought. As a matter of fact, it's just going to have you operating in zombie-like thought. You're not even going to be thinking. You're going to be on go mode. It's a go. Let's go. That's why people are acting like this. Some of us are out here pursuing passion to find purpose. And they play upon this emotional trigger to get you to become a part of the common think tank, to get you off center, distracted, and again, in crisis mode. That's what they want. That's what the enemy wants. Instead of operating in purpose management. Listen to another tactic that the devil uses against our young boys and men. And I was a byproduct of this. Believing this false narrative.
Joe Biden said that?
Yeah, I heard it. Saw it. He said Negroes were animals and they turned the streets into jungles. And he and Senator Eastland had a plan where they could put all of these Negro animals in zoos. Now we talk about the 94 crime bill, that wasn't shit. The 91 was bad. The
91
was really bad. The 81 was the one where one rock got you 5 years, which due to some other stuff Biden and Dennis and Eastland did. It wasn't 5 years with parole. They abolished federal parole. So you get 5 years, you get 60 months, and you get released with all good and honor time at 56 months from federal custody. And then that was the 81 one, then there was the 79 and the 77. So let's give blame where blame is due. That bastard has been a racist dog, and he used to talk about he understood the Negro because he was raised in Delaware. And he said Delaware was a proud slave-owning state that basically copped out by not going with the South during the rebellion as it should have, because they were too close to DC to not be intimidated. So I listened to this racist dog. I kept up with him because I was practicing criminal law, and federal criminal trials became almost a lynch thing because of what is allowed. By the way, idiots like that.
Because you said it's the Crying Negro Network?
Yeah. Did not vote for that damn fool that they had running against him, that racist dog, what I heard the first time in 1972 when I was doing an intern thing at a DC think tank, when he was out there with James O. Eastland, John B. Stennis, Faubus came in from Arkansas. That's the fool who said they'd never integrate the Little Rock High School. They had Wallace there, who was wheeled in, and they had Byrd, former Grand Dragon of the Klan, and they were talking about this young man who had a stupid looking dovetail like he was back in the 1950s, was the last true yellow dog Dixiecrat. And they were talking about Joe Biden, who got up there, and when the speech he gave, I mean, I was really offended. I heard it right outside the state capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ransacked old house, 250 years old. And he said Negro children are like roaches. If they're allowed to integrate the schools, they will infest them and they will never be gotten out. Negro.